How you doing, Dylan?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good, good. How old are you?
I just turned 25.
Awesome. Okay. And which God do you believe in? Happy birthday,
Uh,
by the way.
Thank you.
Hmm.
I don't know. I definitely the Christian God.
Okay.
Well, I feel like there's other gods too.
Okay. And but
Uh,
you believe in the Christian God. Okay. And do you believe this Christian God created the universe?
yeah.
Okay. All right. And what's your best evidence that this Christian God exists?
And it's kind of based off what that other man said before. Uh, he created Adam from dust,
He
and
he can create an atom from dust. Okay. So
yeah.
Superman
So
Superman can fly.
yeah.
Is that evidence that Superman exists?
Well, we know it's a fictional comic book
Hmm.
that
So
the Bible was is what is that? Is that a fiction book? Is it considered a fiction book, or
I
what is
think
it
it is.
considered as? But what is it considered as?
I think it's mythology, which is fiction.
Well, it doesn't matter what you think, but what is what is the whole population thinking? What is it based off? Like, what do they
Well,
say it is?
well, if it's a popularity contest, then yeah,
Yeah,
it would be considered real, but
right.
that doesn't make it true, right? Because there's over a billion people who think the Quran is true. Does that make it true?
Well, Quran could be true. I mean,
Could
it's
be.
just yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to understand that you're saying that because a lot of people think it's true, it's true. The Bible.
Well, I know. I was just telling you that the comic books they're fiction and
Hmm.
they are stated that they're
Yeah.
fiction. The
Yeah.
Bible's not.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm trying to understand then how does the claim that God can create atoms out of nothing demonstrate that God is real?
Did you say atoms or Adam?
Atoms. I think you said atoms, or you said something about dust and atoms. He can create dust out of
He
something.
created no Adam. He
Okay,
created
he
Adam.
created. Oh,
Adam
oh,
and
oh,
Eve.
the person, the biblical character Adam. Okay, so he
Yes.
created Adam from dust,
That's just. I just feel
and
like that's a
that.
metaphor for, you know, pretty much like you could say we are like one with Earth.
Hmm.
Like we're all we got created from Earth, like the
Yeah,
Big Bang.
and that proves God is real to you.
Yeah, I mean that's just one example. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, they found blood splatter on in Jesus' tomb. I found his tomb.
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but it was proven that his body's not there. So if
Yeah.
a body's not there, I mean, I don't know. I mean, has anyone else that you know of that's risen from the dead?
No, I didn't. I don't. Now, how do we know that his body was put there in the first place?
What do you mean? Well, I mean, it's in the Bible
It's in the Bible. Okay, and how do we know the Bible's true?
because they found the tomb.
Because they. Okay, so they found the tomb,
It says where it's at in the
and
Bible.
okay, so the
Where
Bible is
what part?
true. The
Yeah,
Bible is okay. So they found the tomb, and that makes the Bible true. And then the Bible is true because they found the tomb. That's what I'm
the
hearing.
Bible led them to the tomb.
The Bible led them to the tomb. Okay. Um, and so we know where this tomb is.
Yeah, they found it.
They found
They
it.
found.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how do they know?
the
How do we know it's Jesus's blood?
science.
Science. They did
Yeah,
a. Okay. How did they figure that out?
I did. I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, how would they know it's Jesus's blood? Like, how did they confirm that?
I mean, it's like if someone like I'm not trying to get vulgar here or anything like that, but someone like if someone grapes someone, then they can find out who done it by DNA, right?
Right. Right. So we have Jesus's DNA.
Sure. I
We
mean,
did on what? This is kind of like very new information for me. So this, like, do you have a
no,
source for
yeah,
this?
it's yeah. Look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah, Google it. I'm
Okay.
sure you got a computer there.
Yeah, I have a computer. So,
This
all
was
right.
recent.
This was recent. Like, how long
Yeah,
ago?
I don't know, probably like 6 months ago.
Okay, so they found Jesus's DNA.
Yeah,
Did they find Jesus's
it was
DNA?
actually buried. Yeah, it was. somewhere in the mountains. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what
No,
part,
there is
but
no scientific evidence or DNA test results that could confirm the existence or discovery of Jesus's DNA. However, this one says, sequencing.com. Here's a blog post that says Jesus Christ's DNA possibly found on crucifixion nails. Okay. So, and okay, so that's a blog, but that's not a scientific study. This is like I don't know,
well, I mean, I guess
sequencing.com.
it's based off of what. I mean, I can literally look up anything and find different opinions about it. Like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
whatever you believe in, I mean,
So
I can
that's
look
why,
up and find.
well, that's why we go with scientific evidence, right? So,
Yeah,
okay. Do you think opinions are evidence?
no,
Okay.
just like the opinion that you googled at when you the first thing you said. That's opinion.
Right, right. Okay. So, so it doesn't sound like the DNA part is evidence. I'm not, because I didn't really see anything there. So, um, okay. So I guess, okay. So I'm not still not clear on what your evidence is, because I asked for your best evidence, and I think it was God making Adam out of dust.
Well, I just feel like it's like a metaphor.
It's a metaphor, and
Just like you believe the Big Bang, I think the Big Bang did happen. Yes,
mhm, mhm.
it's just we came from dust. We came from Earth. It was just created.
Right, right. So a metaphor is, so help me out here. So you think a metaphor is evidence?
I mean, science tells us that we did come from dust.
Yeah. Um,
So if you believe in science, then science does state that we did come from dust.
is that what
We have
really?
dust particles, dust. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I mean, ultimately, yeah. We come like stardust, right? Um, and
I don't know about stardust.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I guess yeah, with the Big Bang,
okay.
sure.
But I'm trying to understand then how that demonstrates that a god did that. Since science says we come from dust, and that means a god exists. I'm not sure how. There seems to be a lot missing there.
Well, I
So
mean,
how did you kind of?
um,
Well, let me ask you this: How did you? What? Tell me the steps, the method you used to determine that this is true. Like step one was what?
I mean, I guess read some of the Bible. I guess
You read the Bible, okay? And so then that kind of goes back to
something
what I
like
was
that.
asking before. How do we know the Bible is true again?
Prophecies have been
Uh
fulfilled,
huh.
and stuff like that. I
Okay.
mean, it's like someone. It's like if someone was predicting these things, and if someone told you this was going to happen, and it happened
Hmm.
over 300 different times, would you believe them, or is these things coincidence?
Well, I think it would depend on exactly what the supposed prophecies say.
What would it be like?
I think if it gave exact dates, exact locations, exact times, like details that you can't really deny, then yeah, I would consider that a prophecy. But if it's very general and vague, that it could be something else, it may be referring to some things, then I would not consider that a prophecy. Now, here's the thing, Dylan. Other religions have their prophecies. Now, Hindus, actually, ancient Greeks had lots and lots of prophecies that they
Yeah.
claim came true. So, does that make ancient Greek religion true?
Well, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I believe that there are other gods too. Yeah, because it does
Yeah,
state in the
yeah,
Bible there are.
right. So
In the
that
first
would,
commandment, it says,
okay.
"Thou shalt not have any other gods before me,"
Yeah,
stating before, which means there are other
yeah,
gods.
yeah. Yeah, I hear that. Um, and I guess is that, but does that mean that the that we should be worshiping the Greek pantheon?
I mean, I guess just do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I mean,
why?
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, the Bible does state there are other gods, so it's
Hmm.
just people overlook that.
Right, right. And I guess yeah, because I'm still not quite understanding how do we know the Bible is true? Because I mean, you keep citing it as like a reference,
Well, I say, yeah, the reason I believe it's true is because of the prophecies
the
that were fulfilled
prophecies.
and still
Okay.
fulfilling today. So,
Right, right. Okay.
um, that's the reason I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Hmm. Hmm. And how do we know these?
If it's working
Yeah,
and it's being true, then I don't. Why would I say it's false? You know.
right. How do we know these prophecies all came true?
What do you mean?
How do we
I
know
mean,
that? How do we know
history,
that they came true?
history. I mean,
Right.
it's existed. You can look up any of them, really.
Hmm. Well, see, I've looked at all 351 of Jesus's prophecies,
Yeah.
and to me, none of them have come true.
Can
So,
you give me like an example of one that happened that didn't come true?
sure.
I mean, I know there's some that haven't yet, but I mean, there's not. I don't think there's much left to happen.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, okay. So, let's take a look at this one here in Matthew 1.
Yeah.
So, Matthew chapter 1, verse 23. Well, 22 to 23. So, this is kind of an easy one. So, it says in Matthew chapter 1, verse 22, 23, all this took place to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet. Look, the virgin shall become pregnant and give birth to a son, and they shall call him Emmanuel, which means God is with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem is if we go look at Isaiah 7, which is what this verse is referring to,
Mhm.
um, the problem with it is that if you look at actually, yeah, Isaiah chapter 7, if you read the entire chapter of Isaiah, or yeah, the entire chapter of Isaiah 7, it tells you exactly what it's talking about. Um, it starts with, in the days of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, king of Judah, King Rezin of Aram, and King Pekah, son of Remaliah of Israel, went up to attack Jerusalem, but could not conquer it. When the house of David heard that Aram had allied itself with Ephraim, the heart of Ahaz and the heart of his people shook, as the trees of the forest shake before the wind. Then the Lord said to
Mhm.
Isaiah, go out to meet Ahaz. So this he's talking to Isaiah here. You and your son Shear Jashub, and the end of the conduit of their upper pool on the highway to the fuller's field. And say to him, take heed, be quiet, do not fear, and do not let your heart be faint because of these two smoldering stumps of firebrands, because of the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram and the son of Remaliah. Now, I'm gonna stop there, Dylan. Do you follow what we're talking about so far? What is it that what is it?
God's
Yeah.
given Isaiah a command,
Mm-hmm.
to
To
what
whom?
basically to hide and or don't fear him.
God's giving a command to Isaiah to go visit the king Ahaz because
Yeah.
there was the Syro-Ephraim War against Judah.
Okay.
All right. So, um, and so this is so we're setting the table here for a prophecy
Yeah.
regarding that war. Okay.
Right.
And because it says, and if you look at like verses 2 and 3, it says Ahaz was pretty upset and worried, and the heart of his people shook as the trees of the forest shake the wind, because um, King Rezin of Aram and King Pekah, son of Remaliah of Israel, went up to attack Jerusalem but could not conquer it. So when the house of David heard that Aram had allied itself with Ephraim, the heart of Ahaz and the heart of his people shook, as the trees of the forest shake before the wind. So
Okay.
this King Ahaz is worried because there was an alliance that had been formed, and that pretty much says that, okay, we think we're going to get conquered here. And
Okay.
so the Lord sent Isaiah, a prophet, to meet with King Ahaz, and he says to him, take heed, be quiet, do not fear, and do not let your heart be faint because of these two smoldering stumps of firebrands. And he specifically, who are the two smoldering stumps of firebrands, Dylan?
I don't know.
The two smoldering stumps of firebrands are the King Rezin of Aram and King Pekah, son of Remaliah,
So two
because
different.
it's the two other kings who are,
Yeah.
and who
Okay.
had allied, and Aram, who had allied itself with House of David, heard that Aram had allied itself with Ephraim.
Okay.
So there's an alliance brewing, and then there's two other so there's essentially there's like a big army that's coming to conquer King Ahaz and his people.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
because Aram with Ephraim and the son of Remaliah has plotted evil against you, saying, let's go up against Judah and terrify it and conquer it for ourselves and make the son of Tabeel king in it. So the son of Tabeel, so their plan was to conquer Judah and then put their own king there, son of Tabeel.
Okay.
So that's so we've set the stage for that, right? So
Okay.
if we and then there there's some descriptions there about what's going on. But if we skip to verse 14, because it says here Isaiah is giving Ahaz the sign of Emmanuel. All right. So so now here's Isaiah talking with Ahaz, telling him, hey, I got a message for you from God. Okay, the Lord sent me. So it says here, therefore the Lord himself would give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. Before the child knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land before whose two kings you are in dread will be deserted. The Lord will bring on you and your people and your ancestral house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. So
Okay.
okay, so that's Isaiah telling Ahaz that don't worry. The sign is a young woman is with child, and she shall bear a son and name him Emmanuel. So when that
So
happens,
talking about Mary having God, and he's gonna.
no, we are talking just about a young woman having a child and bearing a son. Because remember, this happened like 700 years before Jesus was born. Okay, so we're
How do you get 700 years
you look through the historical texts because Isaiah was written at least 700 years before. So that's why.
before what, Matthew?
Before the book of Matthew. That's correct. You can
Well,
look
I
that up
mean,
historically. So this
how do
didn't
you
happen
how?
right when Jesus was born. No, this happened 700 years before.
Yeah, so it's a prophecy that there is going to be a virgin that has
No,
a.
no,
What do you mean, no?
it's not because it's first of all. Well, I'm going to get to that in a second, but it says here the young woman, and
Okay.
there are two different words in Hebrew because Isaiah was written in ancient Hebrew. There are two different words in
Yeah,
Hebrew.
Hebrew and then New Testament Greek. Yes.
Yep, New Testament Greek. And in Hebrew, there are two different words for young woman and virgin. One is for young woman, the other is for virgin. So we've got two different words for that. Now,
Okay, but
don't
why does a virgin and a young woman matter? What's the
because
big deal
not
between them?
well, are all young women virgins?
Well, no, but it doesn't. It
Okay.
shouldn't matter if it's a virgin or young woman, right?
Okay. Was Mary a virgin?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
They
Well,
say
according
Virgin Mary. They say Virgin Mary,
yeah,
but
according to the Bible, she's a virgin, right? So it's pretty
well,
important there.
well, it's saying. Well, that's my thing. Is it young woman or is it virgin?
That's a good question. That's an excellent question. We'll see the let's see. Here's the thing: the Hebrew text specifically used the word for young woman. There is
Okay.
another word for virgin that they could have used, and it appears elsewhere in the Old Testament.
Okay, let's
So,
just say Mary wasn't a virgin.
okay, well then
Okay.
she wasn't a virgin. Then that means that it wasn't a virgin birth, and then that kind of throws the New
Okay.
Testament all up in the air. So then that's not true.
Well, where in the New Testament say it's a virgin woman?
Oh, I'll get to that in a second. So let's finish this out. Um, so you see here that it's talking about
But you
giving
also have.
that young woman.
Uh,
Okay, well, hold on. There's more. There's more. All right.
okay.
So now if we skip ahead to chapter 8, let's
In
skip ahead.
Isaiah.
Yep, Isaiah.
Okay.
Let's skip ahead to chapter 8.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So all
this
this
is
is. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
okay. So this is when the war actually happens, and and then we find out in chapter 8 that actually Ahaz wins because he beat back the Ephraim and whoever it is that allied themselves. He beat back all those and he protected Judah. So now, if we go back there to chapter 8, it all talks about this and it demonstrates that the prophecy has been fulfilled just as God said it would. So uh, the key to that is if we go to verses 7 through 10. Therefore, the Lord is bringing up against it the mighty floodwaters of the river, the king of Assyria, and all his glory. It will rise above all its channels and overflow all its banks. It will sweep into Judah as a flood, and pouring over will reach up to the neck, and its outspread wings wings will fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Take notice, you people, and be dismayed. Listen, for all you far countries, gird yourselves and be dismayed. Take counsel together, but it shall be brought to naught. Speak a word, but it will not stand with us, for God is with us. So they're praising God because they won this war.
Okay.
And it definitively says it's Isaiah crying out, "O Emmanuel." And then if we back up a couple of verses, it says here in verse 3, it says, actually, let's go to test, 2. And have attested for me by reliable witnesses the priest Uriah and Zechariah, son of Jeberechiah. And I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. Then the Lord said to me, name him Maher Shalal Hashbaz. For before the child knows how to call my father or my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria will be carried away by the king of Assyria. So it specifically says that. Now, let me ask you, was Mary a prophetess?
I mean, I feel like she was chosen for a reason,
But was
right?
she a prophetess? Was she prophet was she was she spewing out prophecies at all at any time?
Maybe she was, but it wasn't written
Well,
down.
where is it in the Bible that she was spewing out prophecies? We're talking
Well,
about
next,
Mary here.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So we don't have any evidence of that, right? So maybe she was. I agree with you. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah,
But do we have
possibly she
any?
was. Yeah.
Okay, but do we have any evidence that she was?
Does the Bible say that she was prophesizing?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, unless you can find me a passage that says that Mary was prophesizing, was
Okay,
spewing out prophecies.
so she wasn't prophesizing. What
Okay.
does that got to do with?
Because it says here on verse 3, and I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. So this is
Okay,
the son
then
that
she did
this
prophesy then.
no no no. This is Isaiah. Okay, you
I
got to
understand.
okay, this is Isaiah. This is a
Hmm.
prophetess who conceived and bore a son. And this
Okay,
is
that
the
means
son
she's
that
a
they're
prophet
talking.
then.
No, no, this she was a prophetess before she conceived and bore a son.
Okay.
She's
Yes.
that's just who she is. So she's a
Right.
prophetess who conceived and bore a son. This is the son that they're talking about in chapter 7.
Yes. So
This is
she
who they're
was a
talking.
prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And she conceived
All
and
right.
bore a son. And
Okay.
then they named his son Maher Shalal Hashbaz. So
Okay.
this is the son they're talking about. So
Okay.
now if we jump forward to Matthew, back to that verse on verse 23 in Matthew, and it said, or 22, and all this took place to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet. And you said something interesting earlier. You said correctly that this was written in ancient Greek. Look, the virgin shall become pregnant and give birth to a son, and they shall call him Emmanuel, which means God is with
Okay. Time
us.
out. Virgin,
Mm-hmm.
young maiden, and
Uh huh.
girl. It's all pretty much the same word. So why
Now,
does that matter?
well, you did say this. You did say earlier that not all young women are virgins,
Well, I mean, just you have to think
and
though.
and
Back in the day, you
the
know,
reason it matters, Dylan,
young.
is because they had two specific words for young woman. They had two separate words for young woman and virgin in Hebrew, and
Okay, just
they had one interchangeable word in Greek
they
for
just
virgin
didn't
and
they
young
just didn't
woman.
use that word.
Okay,
So
they
what?
didn't use that word.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you, but the other problem you have is that this prophecy that Matthew says had been fulfilled, this was not for Jesus. This was for King Ahaz. That's the problem.
Okay.
Okay? So that means that Jesus did not fulfill this prophecy. King Ahaz, it was fulfilled 700 years ago. So how is it possible that this prophecy was fulfilled 700 years prior and Matthew is saying that it was fulfilled when Jesus was born? This has nothing to do with Jesus. Absolutely nothing. So that's one out of the 351 that Jesus did not fulfill. Jesus did not fulfill this prophecy. It had already been fulfilled.
Well, I mean, just him saying the king saying that it was the prophecy was fulfilled doesn't mean it was the actual that prophecy.
Okay, then why would he say that? Why would Isaiah tell him that prophecy if that wasn't the prophecy?
I mean, why couldn't you prophesy and 700 years later Jesus fulfilled that prophecy?
Right. But why would Isaiah go specifically be commanded by God to go to
Hmm.
King Ahaz and say this prophecy and it not be meant for King Ahaz? Why would and the entire chapter 7 and 8 are built around this prophecy? Then why
Well, I
would we
understand.
even have that story in the first place if this is for Jesus?
Just
That doesn't
I
make any
guess hope.
that doesn't make
I
any
mean, you
sense.
have to realize too. I mean, the Bible is not chronological order.
Yeah, but we have evidence that Isaiah was written 700 years prior to Matthew.
Where's the evidence of that?
Well, there's plenty of evidence. Tons of religious scholars do.
What would I have to look up?
Well, I would just Google when was Isaiah written, and you'll find it.
And then you Google when was Matthew written.
Mm-hmm. There's at least a 700-year gap.
All right, 1 second. Let me Google that, please.
Yep. Okay. While he's doing that, we'll go back to the chat. Let's check out, see what's going on YouTube. Ooh, I've got 2. Okay, so let's see what people are saying on YouTube. I don't know how to scroll up on this chat window. See, I gotta fix my chat windows on YouTube because I just started this thing. So the evidence is what language was used. Language changes. That's exactly right. Intrepid Chimp. Based. Do the weeping and wailing of the woman next. That's funny. Oh, I got one. Yeah. So isn't a prophet a future tense prediction and not a historical recounting of the Exodus? How do we know what random snippets of text are prophecy? Matthew. Yeah. See, we're lining up all the prophecies that didn't get fulfilled here. But that's So what did you find out, Dylan?
So I saw that Matthew was written in 50 to 60 BC, and then now it's saying the
or CE. CE.
Okay.
CE.
Now it's saying the book of Isaiah is believed to have been written over a period of time, with the core of the book attributed to the prophet Isaiah of Jerusalem in the 8th century BC. However, it says, therefore, while the book of Isaiah has a core that can be traced back to the 8th century BC, it is a compilation of writings from different periods and authors.
Mm-hmm. So when was the last? So when was the last one written?
What? Which verse? Which chapters?
Well, the last piece, whatever you want to put in there. So, well, actually, you can even ask specifically when was chapter 7 and 8 written.
Okay.
So Isaiah was written right around 8th century BC, and it is a compilation of authors, but I don't think it took 800 years to write that. I seriously doubt that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It didn't take 700 years to write it.
Mm-hmm. So that's specifically what I'm asking. When was chapter 7 and 8 written?
The Syro-Ephraimite War, whenever that was. So let me Google that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you'll find
736 to 732 BC.
There you go. BCE. So that's about 700 years before Matthew was written. Even closer to 800 years before Matthew was written. So,
but it says Matthew was written in 50 BC.
Right, 50 AD or CE, Common Era. It was after, because Jesus was crucified right around 0 or 1 of the Common Era. So Matthew could not have been. Matthew could not have been written 50 years before Jesus died. That's not possible.
It's not AD after death. That's after the death of Jesus.
Right. So that's Common Era. AD.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, AD, not BC.
Well, I heard you.
You're talking about Isaiah, which was written 700 years before Matthew, which was written after the death of Jesus.
I heard you say 50 to 60 BC, but you're right. It was about 50 to 60 AD. You're right.
Yeah.
So.
Death.
Okay. So that's 7. Well, that means Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, but they don't even use that anymore. They use CE, which is Common Era. I took 4 years of Latin, so that's Anno Domini.
Isaiah was written. Not after that. Isaiah was written before Matthew was. That's what it's stating.
No, that's not true.
That's when we have AD, which is after death, which is after BC. BC is before Christ.
Right.
So Isaiah before Christ, Matthew after death.
So what you're saying then is that BC comes after AD? That's what you're telling me?
No, because before AD.
That's correct. So that means that Isaiah was written before Matthew.
Yep.
Okay, so we agree on that. All right. So
Yes.
Isaiah was written before Matthew, which is what I said earlier. I said it was written at
Mm-hmm.
least 700 years before Matthew. That is correct. So if it was 700 BC, and it counts backwards from 700 to 0 when you're in BC time, right? So that's
Okay.
700 years, and then it starts from 0 to 1. It counts forwards from 0 on for AD. So then you add about 50 to 60 years to 732, and that is roughly almost 800 years.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's the big deal about the 700 years again? I don't understand.
Okay. Well, you were trying to say that the two may have been written at the same time, and I was saying to you, no,
No, I did
that's
not
not
say
true.
that.
Okay.
I did not say it was written at the same time.
Okay. But you were contesting when I said they were written about 700 years apart. You said, well, we don't know that, and we just demonstrated that it is. So,
Okay. So
okay.
yes. All right.
Okay, so we agree on that. Okay, so that means
Yeah.
that, and if you look at the Syro-Ephraim War, it is right around that same time.
Yeah, that's
So
how I found out the date. Yeah.
perfect, perfect. So we have everything lining up to Isaiah being written around 700-ish BC. We
Mm-hmm.
have the Syro-Ephraim War, which was right around the same time. So again,
Mm-hmm.
I ask you, why would Isaiah go visit King Ahaz, who was in the Syro-Ephraim War, and give him a prophecy about Jesus 700 years later? Why would he do that?
Now, was he talking about Jesus, or could have been another prophet?
He was Isaiah was talking about this child that was born to this prophetess.
Mm-hmm.
That all the passages I just read to you,
Yeah.
that's who he was. He was not talking about Jesus.
Okay, so he wasn't talking about Jesus. He was talking about someone else.
Okay, so then that's not a prophecy for Jesus. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Matthew says that prophecy was fulfilled. The prophecy that he states in the first chapter of Matthew, verse 22 and 23, was
Yeah.
for King Ahaz. So
Yeah.
that prophecy was not fulfilled. That's a strike. You line out that prophecy, because
It, it it
that's
was
not a
fulfilled, but it wasn't fulfilled by Jesus.
it was not yes, it was fulfilled, but Matthew is saying it was
Yeah.
fulfilled by Jesus. But
Why?
I just demonstrated that
Are they
he couldn't
talking
have.
about the same prophecy though? Why couldn't they
They
be two different prophecies?
Well, you can just read the text again, Dylan. If you read first chapter of Matthew, verse 22 through 23, he quotes most of what was said in Isaiah 7. You can just read it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're talking about the same exact
Okay, which one was he talking about
prophecy.
then? Because he said
A
from the
different
prophet.
prophecy.
Okay, which one
There's
then?
there are many prophets.
Which one? Go find it.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one. Whether obviously it's not Jesus,
Well,
right?
then how do
Matthew's
we
talking
know
about
if we don't
Jesus.
know which prophecy it is, Dylan? How do we know it's actually a prophecy? Because then that means Matthew's just
Because he
claiming.
just said it was a prophecy.
Okay, so why would there be another prophecy with the exact same wording as the one that's in Isaiah chapter 7? That doesn't make sense either.
They're just two different prophets. One was Jesus. One was
They're
some other
they're two
prophet.
different okay, so then where is the other prophecy then?
What do you mean the other one?
There should be, if there was another, if you're claiming there's another prophecy, then go
Yeah.
find the other prophecy. Where is it?
When Mary gave birth to Jesus.
Okay, but there's supposed
That
to
was
be a
one.
prophecy for first chapter Matthew, verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
I'm specifically asking for that prophecy that was told before Jesus was born. Where is that prophecy that you're saying there must be another prophecy somewhere? Then where is it?
The king fulfilled it. The
Okay,
last king, right?
right. The king
Yes.
fulfilled the prophecy, which means
Yep.
Jesus did not fulfill the prophecy. The king did. It was already
Right.
fulfilled.
Well, I mean, if okay, the king. Okay, so the king's the prophet.
No, the king's not the prophet. Isaiah's the
How-
prophet. Isaiah's the
Okay,
prophet. Yeah. So the
and he
king's not
said
the
that
prophet.
this.
Isaiah
Yeah,
said
this
that
was
to
the.
the king. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Isaiah said this prophecy to the king because
mm-hmm,
this was directly from God, because
mm-hmm.
it clearly spells it out in Isaiah chapter 7. And then it's fulfilled in chapter 8, as they stated. They won the war, they won the Syro-Ephraim War,
Mm-hmm.
and the child was born. And it says
Yep.
specifically, a prophetess conceived and bore a son.
Yeah, but
That's what
that
it
doesn't mean
specific.
that was Jesus.
It's not Jesus because it was 700 years prior. You're right. That is correct.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
So, so the bottom line is the prophecy was not fulfilled. That's the bottom line. Unless you can demonstrate to me that there is another prophecy out there somewhere with the exact same wording that Jesus fulfilled. But Jesus did not fulfill. Otherwise, Jesus did not fulfill this prophecy.
So what you're saying is the prophecy back in Isaiah, it was fulfilled by the king.
That's correct. And it clearly shows that. If you just go read chapter 7 and
Oh,
8 in Isaiah,
I
you see
100%
that.
agree with you. I get it. I
Yeah.
100% agree with you. I'm confused. I mean, you don't
Okay.
think maybe God used him as to fulfill it?
No.
Why
No.
not?
Because the prophecy was already fulfilled. So there's no reason. So then why would Matthew put that in there, and then say, oh, this.
It's a different kind of prophecy. It's a different prophecy with a different person, with
Okay.
Jesus.
So then where is that prophecy then? Where is it? If it's a different prophecy that some other prophet made, who is the
Yeah.
prophet and where is it? Where is it in the Bible?
So you're asking where is the prophet that said that Jesus was going to be born from a virgin?
Yeah. In
Okay.
first book of Matthew, chapters 22 through 23, those exact words. Because that's the other thing is Matthew quotes this prophet. Look, there's quotes around it. Look, the virgin shall become pregnant and give birth to a son. They shall call him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. So where is that prophecy if it's not in Isaiah? If Isaiah is not referring to this, then where is that prophecy that you keep saying exists? Your microphone is muffled.
Oh, sorry. Well,
No, it's okay.
it says in Isaiah and in Micah.
Yeah. So there's another one in Micah. Well, that brings up a whole nother one, but that one that you're referring to in Micah is not referring to this one at all. That's
So
a whole
you're
different
asking
one.
for the New Testament, right?
Well, what I'm asking is Matthew 1, chapter 1, verse 22 through 23, that those words look a hell of a lot similar to the ones that were stated in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14 or 23. No, sorry, 14. So 14, yeah, verse 14. So we can read the two. You can put them side by side. So Matthew chapter 1, verse 23 says, look, the virgin shall become pregnant and give birth to a son. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 14, chapter 7. Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son. And then the next part, and shall call him and shall name him Emmanuel. And that's what it
So
says in Matthew. And they shall name him Emmanuel. So if it's not from Isaiah 7, where is this from?
so Emmanuel is a prophet in the Old Testament, right?
No, Emmanuel is the name they supposedly gave to Jesus, but it's clear that it was this
So
kid who was born to this prophetess who was conceived, and it was a
that's
sign to King Ahaz.
that's
That's
where
who it was.
that's where uh that's where it happened. Where that's why some most Jews don't believe Jesus has came back yet. They think they're waiting on Emmanuel, right?
No, they're not waiting on Emmanuel. They're just waiting on their Messiah. They don't believe Jesus is their
Well,
Messiah
that's
because
what I'm saying. It's
he did
Emmanuel,
not fulfill any of the prophecies. That's why they don't believe he's the Messiah.
right? They're waiting on Emmanuel. I'm pretty sure Emmanuel in the Old Testament. That's where like it ends the Old Testament. It talks about
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
it might be, but all I'm telling you is that
So
this verse
that's
in
why.
Isaiah 7 is not
But
talking. This is not the same Emmanuel. Then it's not the same one,
well, some people believe it is. Some people believe it's not.
right? And I just gave you evidence that it's not. It's not the same one. He is not him. All right.
So, all right.
I
Thank you.
think, yeah, I appreciate you coming up, Dylan. Have a good one.
I think.